Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, August 2nd. And as I am looking here at the time clock calendar, I just wanted to make sure that we are online on all stream platforms. And normally we've been having our Monday weekly morning rituals at 9 a.m. Eastern. However, exactly where we are today is perfect. And yeah, this week's topic I felt will definitely come forth in terms of the energies of the week and any guidance for the local community, far and wide, right? But I felt there was this message that I needed to address most recently. I've been diving back into the yogic texts because there's a foundation, when it comes to practicing yoga and meditation. It's not just about the action that you're doing right then and there, but also like what is the essence? What is it that motivates us to practice, right? What is it that we are looking for, if there is a thing? And one of the basic practices I've been being drawn back is coming back to stillness, coming back to our breath, coming back to, in order to really receive guidance and clarity, we have to know what isn't clear, right? And that goes down to our practice in itself. It's like, all right, I'm sitting here, but am I fully present, right? And we've been talking about this the past couple of weeks. And one of the major things that came forth for today, especially, is like, okay, making commitments, but also allowing that space and grace, and knowing that you're honoring making space for others, right? And whatever it is that you do in order to serve the rest of the collective, your passion, your purpose, right? But don't forget to make space for yourself. Don't forget to make space for those in your inner circle within your own household. And so this leads to the conversation where in yoga, not only are we looking to find that peace in the moment and that rest, and where exactly where we are, and we accept where we are, right? And through acceptance, you're able to move and grow, at least from an energetic standpoint. Why we do the movements is so that we can feel the healing in our body, so that we can move energies that are stored and blocked through the body system and release those energetic blocks and traumas, right? Stored in the muscle tissue at a physical standpoint. When you go back deeper and we look at the concept of the mind thoughts, right? They talk about how we have that physical self experience, but then you also have a human, a being has that mental self, the part of the self that lays between the physical and the one unified consciousness, primordial self, right? And we call that sense of the etheric being, the energy, the chakras, many words for it, right? And that was the part that I felt I was being called to lead into the conversation. Even after having this type of year where we've been given the opportunity and blessing to look inward so that we can grow and expand. And we probably found out quite a bit of things about ourselves that we probably put on a stand hold for a while now. And with this, example, one of the most recent things that have come up, at least in the realm of the people around me and their experiences and where they are from and, serving, is I can't believe that people, even after what has happened, right, in terms of situations, have forgotten exactly where we just been through the experience and forgotten how to, speak to one another. Hi, Arthur. And that has been coming up, coming up, coming up. And normally I just listen and I give any, if it serves, any guidance, any wisdom if the person's wanting that, right? But this has been coming up, and I actually had my own personal experience this weekend too, where it's like, okay, one of my own growth lessons that I had to, you know, I've been learning to work on in terms of my own personal journey is to express myself in a healthy way. And healthy, if you look back last week, I did just like a post remix about like trauma response, right? From my own perspective. My own was to learn how to, again, voice how I feel with, again, my friend said just on, when will we ever get to the point where we are going to be honest with each other and just respect the space, right? Holding the space when you're practicing yoga and just even in conversation with a friend, you're holding space for them to be authentic and truth and just no judgment so they can grow and release, right? Their own responses and transmute that in a healthy way and in light and love. And so in this situation, I had the experience to, okay, I've tended in the past to just hold it, hold it, hold it until eventually it comes out and bursts out in a, like, not a constructive way for either party, the inward experience or the outward experience. And I've had to learn to balance that out, right? The throat chakra, having that inner fire to come out forth in a way that helps to get my point across, but also helps you realize, because sometimes we tend to fall asleep, so to speak, into old routines that are just complacent. And that's not allowing us to grow in the, again, constructive, healthy way. And that is like in this whole community of aspect of the yoga practice on the physical level, and also like a teaching wise, we don't run away from the discomfort. We learn how to step into that space, perhaps where you're finding at a physical level some sort of tension, some sort of tightness in the body, discomfort. And we breathe into that space consciously. And at some point, as you learn to be present with it, it's that medium, not, that medium between discomfort and pain, but right in the middle so that we're able to transmute out. And it's in that moment, again, we don't avoid things. So the topic is, I see around me certain people going back to old ways, right? Mm. And on a grander collective level, it's as if, you see that at the extremist, these situations that arise, riots, and other things that occur, right? And it's like a friend was saying, they follow this said, he's a mechanic, and people come to him at the very last minute when it's already, your car is already kind of ruined. It's showing symptoms. When if you were to just do your routine checkups, you wouldn't get to this point where now you have to pay X amount of thousands of dollars, right? For the exchange of service so you can get your car fixed and go to work. And that's exactly, I think, in terms of this just message, is learning to express ourselves authentically in a way, holding the space first for ourselves to what is it that our needs are, and then how to express that to the other when perhaps the receiver, right, or the person involved with this is not aware or they're not showing interest, right? But something is needed to say in the moment because if not, if we keep shoving things under the rug, it tends to build up. Or in this example, the car, the engine, will poof, right? Whatever that technological terminology is. And so I just wanted to address this that on the grander scale at the collective level and just ascension and realizing who we are, that's like the practice of yoga. We come to this point of remembrance that we are not our bodies, right? We are not mind thoughts that come through, the emotions that pass, right? They are valid because we're experiencing things. But what is it that underneath that we are looking to explore and remember? They're coming up for a reason. And when you go back to that mental, the physical level, and your, oneness, the energy that creates all, right, in this, in all of us, in those practices and stillness of the discomfort and the pause, we are remembering who our essence is. That is why we need those moments just to, one, pause and remember what are the lessons that we are working on right now. And so, looking back through the readings for this week that I was just looking into to prep for my classes, it's, are we attempting to put the teachings into practice, for one, and in our bodily experience? And then the moment that you are attempting to put something into practice, a lesson, a thought, something you've learned so you can formulate it in your own soul's expression, things might come up and they might feel uncomfortable. But this is a time for us to relax within into ourselves unconditionally, just as much as we hold space for others to nurture their own abilities, right? Their own personal experiences. And so that goes back to the very beginning of this conversation. Hey, Christy, that are you holding space as you're holding space for the other, for your families, for your external? Are you holding space for yourself? And that is exactly, not that I'm giving this as an excuse or needing to justify, but it's just an example of how wherever it is that you're moving towards, and this is messages for those of the collective community who vibe with exactly where you are right now, you know, are you serving those internal needs that are so important for you that as the trials and tribulations come up, right, they're not seen as obstacles, but opportunities to really help you to refine, is this the path I want to move towards, right? Is this posture that I'm holding, what do I need to tweak and adjust so I can feel that flow in my body lengthening or engaging all these muscles? And I say this because from just personal perspective, things can come up and really they're just, I've heard this week, you know, a way for the universe just to help us to really clarify this is what I want. I'm not going to give it up. I'm going to keep going regardless of what's coming forward or no matter how many times I've had to deal with this thing, I'm still in it because of this why. Now I realize that what I'm experiencing is not truly something that's going to defeat me. I'm going to go towards the end no matter what. And this is something so that you can remember not to avoid, not to run away, But learning how to come into a space of ease and comfort, whatever that comes forth. And again, it's layers upon layers. Think of a cake. You have the raw ingredients of the eggs, the flour, the milk, butter, right? Chocolate chips, and whatnot. And that's the raw ingredients. It's like the physical ingredients, right? You see each one for separateness. But then when you mix them all together and you form a mixture, and they're now like they form one, they say a homogeneous mixture where you don't see a distinction. The cake batter is all one color. You lick the batter and it's one taste. You don't taste the separateness of the chocolate chips, the flour, the butter, the eggs. It's just one now, one flavor. And that's the next deeper layer underneath what you're going through, right? It's okay. This is the feelings. These are the things, the insights that I cannot see at a physical, sense level, right? But it's somewhere within where perhaps I need to get into that moment of stillness and close my eyes to experience it. And then we have then the cake in itself. And the way, at least the way I'm seeing it, the cake in itself is that beautiful essence of who we are, what the experiences, all the layers within them took, that we had to put together to form this beautiful cake with the strawberries and cherries on top or vanilla flavor frosting, to really see what we are creating, what we are unveiling. And a beautiful message that of remembrance I heard this week was, oh, you already are it. You already have it in terms of the ascension journey. You are already awakened, right? You know who you are, your soul's truth, your higher level consciousness. You're just having the experience of the journey. And so, in the experience of the journey, when you are going through experiences and choices and how to respond and react, are you taking into account the bigger picture? Are you the way this manga put it is, I am intentionally now seriously considering my actions, my thoughts about my future. Your why. Why are you investing? Why are you, if you choose to speak, why? And let that come from a heart-centered space. I mean, there are multiple layers, right? You can't, and it's also an experience, growing experience, but let that be, at least if it's so you can take that first step to speak up, and let it be that. And see how you can refine it a little bit more later. And this is just because each experience that we gain, whether it's through study, through personal one-on-one, mentorship, whoever we surround ourselves with, now that things are opening up, right, at the physical level, and you're able to go back into communities and practices, studios, gyms, work, and all of that accumulates. So again, they are guides rather than absolutes. We're still here to form hmm, our own lessons, our own values, our own morals in terms of how we lead. And if you look back in the stories today, one of the major things that I feel resonates for this week as I in practice um, is we all have a purpose, right, on this path journey. Now, what is it, that impact that you're wanting to do and leave on the footprint of this beautiful earth and planet? And I know this conversation was like, But it was a mixture of things, and I believe certain things will resonate with you. And I feel that we'll go back to tomorrow's Tuesday, the 3rd of August, and we'll do the morning ritual then, just because I felt like this was something that just needed to come forth, and making sure I touch base on the things I wanted to touch base on is yes, don't let the external experience erase all the internal work that we've been working on this past year, right? And a half, year. Go back to what it is that you learned, apply them. This is a time of application and embodying what it is that you're teaching, what it is that your values are, and let that shine out. So don't let anyone or anything make you forget. So this is the purpose, reason why I say my name's Stephanie, and I go by Divine Cosmos because even I have moments of forgetfulness, right? Of who my soul's essence, right? Who I really am. And in the human experience, I go and I'll let it out. And we're all working on, again, it's a life journey, a life practice. And I think that's where I've been, how it's going to formulate in terms of messages. And I think there's going to be my heart's desire to express the merging of the etheric, metaphysical, spiritual, magic aspect of divine essence with the practicality. And I think a beautiful way to integrate that is just how you practice in real life embodiment. And that's like the yoga practice. And I say that, so I find a good tip that helps for me to remember. It's like I'm practicing in my own mind's experience. I'm holding these thoughts even throughout my life, wherever I'm going, wherever I'm serving, and remembering. I'm like, okay, let's step it back for a moment. What is it that I want to express here? Right? Because we are way makers and we're here to shake up the paradigm and systems and to bring forth awakening for others, right? Just to bring the truth out as light workers and beings of the family of light. And I say that tidbit because I just see something around most recently, and where it's around the LGBTQ community, and they'll use pronouns, right? And they'll say, "Hi, my name's Sarah. I go by she, he, or they, them," right? And I think it's it's a physical, external way to see it at the macro of what really we are working with at the micro spiritual essence. It's like, okay, how do you remember? And I ask this question, how do you remember, your soul's essence, who you really are at a deeper conscious level, when you are out in your day to day? And so if you got this far through today's message, thank you. Thank you for tuning in and just taking a moment of gratitude, because every single day that you're here is a moment to be grateful because you are here, right? And it gives opportunity for growth and expansion along with forgiveness, right? And so stay tuned for the rest of the week where I'll be putting up energy messages for the day to day. And tomorrow morning, I believe we'll go forth like an 11 a.m. ceremony, morning ritual for the week. And we'll resume Mondays. I pray you guys have a blessed week, and definitely take care, enjoy yourselves, and comment down below how you feel. How do you practice self remembrance in your day to day? Holding that peace and stillness, even when things are coming up in your way. Take care.